Hi friends, it's Nancy, and today I'm back with the accordion folder journal folder that we're making with Amy, Carol, Mitzie, and Linda. It's hashtag accordion collaboration. That's what it is. So in the last video I did just kind of use the papers to cover up, give it all a base, the front and back. And so now I wanted to start, and on here I wanted to do something, something like when you pull it out, you'll say, oh, okay, what's going on in here, right? So I showed you how to make my version of ghosts with the Tim Holtz dolls in the last video, I believe, or the first one. And so I have one of those, and then I have one of these Tim Holtz frames, and I did kind of ghost stitch around it with black thread over the white thread that it was, because I kind of wanted to put one here. And I might add some black stitching here and there, like around tags and tucks and things. I usually don't do that hardly ever, but I thought maybe this time I could. And then I have one of my die cuts of leaves here. I have a Tim Holtz butterfly. I have a piece of, I don't remember. I might have listed this kit in the description box, but yes, I'm sure I did. It's the Herbalist, I believe, from I have a few of them here. I think it's from the Herbalist from Ruby and Pearl, I think. I have all my scraps here, the Alaska wallpapers, and just whatever scraps. And I have a couple of tags and things and pages from Amy's Spooky Past. So Alaska wallpapers, Spooky Past, and I think these were, actually I was using these in my Spellbound, and those were from, I think, Ruby and Pearl. And then I also mentioned that I was using some of Amy's vintage ads, and I'm going to show you a little thing that I did. But let's get to this. I pre-cut this tag, and I wanted it to be different for the front. And so, well, anyway, let's just get going. My idea, I wanted to put this down here on the front here, like this. Let me move that out of the way. I was going to put this here. I wanted the ghost of the girls here. And I'm going to use this butterfly and this for the tag. And I wanted to put this here, but what I'm going to do is cut it and glue half of it on the frame, but since this will be a pocket, I'm going to glue the other half to the background. So it'll look connected, but it'll be separate so we can use it as a pocket. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I think the first thing I need to do is see this, where I'm going to cut it, which I think would be, I'm going to decide that it's going to be right, looks like right across here. So I think this will work. So I'm going to cut it here and here. And this part will be glued on to the background, like so. Like that. Okay, and then this part will be glued to the frame, right where they would have connected. Let's see how that's going to be. I want it to be more this way and not hanging over. And then this part will be glued here, like that. That's right. Okay, so I am going to, I think I should glue this part on the frame. That'll be just a little trickiness there, but I think it's gonna be fine. I have to just make sure it matches up. So let's get my glue here. I'm going to try to hold it and glue it in place. So I hope you're all doing well. I am doing fine. Had a very, very busy past weekend. We did pumpkin carving, my daughters, my granddaughters, my younger grandson, and me. And that was so much fun because I told you my younger daughter had she grew 28 pumpkins in her backyard. 28. So we had a carving party. I will post a picture. I bought these changing lights on Amazon, and we had them. We waited till dark and lit them up, and it was so pretty. So I'll post it on my Instagram account. We did that, and then we went apple picking one day, and then we celebrated my youngest granddaughter's birthday. So that was fun. Okay, that's where that's gonna go. All right, I'm gonna get glue on this part, and we're gonna get that down. I think it's gonna work out. So yeah, look, it's already, oof. But at least the weather is cooler. Finally, at least here in Illinois, the weather is cooler now. And it's kind of refreshing to have the windows open and things. So I'm really loving the cool. I mean, the warm weather was nice too, but it kind of just didn't feel like fall yet. So, okay, I'm going to kind of line this up right there. Yes, and that'll be fine. Okay, I like that. Okay, so now I can glue this frame on. Okay, so glue it 3 sides. I already inked around it, and like I said, I sewed around it with black thread. So I'm just going to put some ink and glue this down. I saw Carol, she made her masterboard and did some frames, and that's good too. And then Amy was using the Tim Holtz collage strips, and I don't have any I don't have the Halloween ones, which is very unusual for me that I don't have them. I would thought I would have had everything, but I don't. So I'm going to show you how to make, well, I'm going to make some to use in this journal with Amy's vintage ads and her papers and whatever else you have, whatever you're using to make yours, just make your own. I mean, it's easy, very easy. Okay, there's that. We're going to let that dry for a second. And then I'm going to glue her on. So I can glue everything on except her hand here. And so I'm going to, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm probably going to use some of my fabric tack for this, because it is a little stiff here. So, and I want it to really stick. So I'm just going to do that instead. Isn't it nice that we are able to use all the different glues for different parts? I mean, sometimes you need a stronger glue than what you're using, but at least we have it available. Okay, so I'm going to put that here. Right there. Okay, and I'm going to hold her down because she got, it's the Tim Holtz dowel, and she's kind of curvy, stiff with the glue on it. So I'm going to just hold her down for a second. And so what I was thinking of doing, this is the tag, and I wanted to do something different on the top, which, oh, did I not glue that down very good on this side, or it didn't take yet? I better hold that down too. Hold this down. Or did I not get enough glue on there? I thought I did. But I like how this extends here and then kind of goes over there, but it's still a pocket. Okay, now let's just hold her down. Once again, I'm saying that I'm going to put this tag in here. It's probably a little stiff now. It's a little, let me take my bone folder here and make sure I didn't. Oh, see, I undid that, didn't I? Okay, that's okay. It'll be fine. Let me get that in there, make sure, because I already checked that it would fit, but then, you know, once you glue it, see, that will be fine. Let me just get that on there. Hold her down there. Sorry that it's taking a while, but, you know, these Tim Holtz pieces are thick, so you have to, I probably should use fabric tack for the frame, too, now that I'm thinking about it, but this should work out, and I can always trim the sides a little bit, so there. Let me get that there. And then, so what I wanted to do, I just kind of measured that, and then I took I think I took my jar and just kind of traced it to get that curve, like an archway. And I just wanted to cover this with this for a background, like that. So I can see through the light of where I want it actually, so I am going to glue this whole piece down, I think, like so. All right, I'm going to get some glue on here. I guess I could use my glue stick for this. Then I gotta get my oh, let me get a glue book out here. Okay, so let's get glue on here. So I hope you all had a nice weekend. Did you do anything special? Now that it's, you know, officially October and the weather's showing us that it's October, do you have any things that you do with your families or yourselves, you know, things that you like to do during the nice cool months? Maybe you have like I'm just kind of eyeballing this. Hold on one second here. Okay. Do you like to go camping, or do you have a home in the woods? That would be so much fun, wouldn't it? Or maybe you have okay, that's good. I'm liking that. Let me cut around it. Looking for my scissors. There they are. Yeah, I love to go take a ride and see the leaves changing and things like that. I love that. I remember going to Door County, Wisconsin during the fall one year, and I almost thought somebody painted those trees. Well, I know God did, but I'm like, all right, are these real? Because I've never seen vibrant colors like this. Never seen vibrant colors like this in real life till I was up in Door County, Wisconsin, seeing the beautiful fall colors. Oh my gosh, I just can't never get that out of my mind. I do have some pictures too, but you know, it's not like seeing it in person for sure. So that was so nice. But maybe you have areas that work for you in your, you know, where you have vibrant colors. Okay. Let me just ink this up. Now, what I want to do is put that butterfly on here, but I need to place it right where the window, you know, so it's kind of, so you can see it through the window. So let's just see how this goes in here now. I know it's damp yet, so it's not stiff yet. So I will end up putting it under a book to make it flat, but I think it's a little tight here. Let's see. Try it again. Okay. I know I'm fighting it a little bit here. There. I know it fits. That's why I don't want to take it off. So that's kind of what I was thinking of. But I was hoping, and if this one doesn't work, I have some other shape ones from him that I thought it was just an exotic looking butterfly. And I wanted to put it on the tag just like that so it would show through. So I think probably the best thing for me to do is to put glue on it. I wonder, I'm almost thinking I want to put glue on this and stick it in there like that, just so I know it's right where I need it. And I probably would use I will use the fabric tack. I know I should. I just got to make sure I don't put too much that it oozes out and then the tag is permanently stuck in my pocket. So I will just kind of lightly, and I'm not going to worry about the antennas till it dries and I pull it out, and then I can glue the antennas on better too. So I am going to slide this in and put it exactly where I want it. Oh, that worked out well. And I'll glue those on better. Yes, this is perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, so I'm going to eventually pull this out and flatten it. But so then you have a little bit of this here. And I could even do a little more down there maybe. Let's see what else I have. I have my little container here. I don't know if I need any more or not. I could put some down here, but that might be too much. It is pretty. It's got some purpley flowers down here already. I'm going to leave that for now, I think. Okay. And I'll probably take that tag out and stitch around it as well. So that'll work out too. So that's going to be there for the front. Now on this page here, I wanted to do a little folder. I just cut this out of a scrap of the manila folder and then use my envelope punch board to make my tab smaller. So what I was thinking of doing is gluing this just two sides here. So this will be a tuck, but then you could open this up for journaling. And then I was going to put a dangle because then this will be like here. And I already picked a charm out that's not too thick, so it's going to fit fine in there. Okay, so I have a piece of this is my dyed, my sprayed book page that I'm using in Spellbound. It's kind of like a greeny green. And then I have, of course, another piece of that. I have one of my leaves that I made with Tim Holtz dye, but with sprays. So I made a few of these leaves to go in here, the two smaller ones. And then I have this, this is probably from the botanist too. I cut that down. I wanted to glue that on there. Okay, so let's just start doing that. So I think there'll be nice little journal spots. I'm going to put it on here. There'll be some nice journaling spots in here, you know, to journal or write whatever. But I wanted to make, and I always have to keep in mind not to make it where it won't fit in the pocket, because my goal is that the pocket will work for this journal. So I always have to keep that in mind, I guess, now. But see, that was I know the other gals weren't doing it first, but I think I needed it for my inspiration piece. And I just needed to see that. That is my, let me get it here. That is my inspiration piece. So I look at it, you know, while I'm working to keep in mind what I want to do. So I wanted that, and then I was, for interest, even though that's pretty, I wanted to put this leaf on there for added interest. And oh, it's got a little shimmer in there too, so I wanted to do that. Okay. I think the colors look really nice, and I can always trim off this little stem part here. Glue that down like that. Okay, and then the inside, I thought it would leave for journaling, but I had a scrap here, and I think I'm just gonna kind of put that in there, and then maybe a couple little stickery type things. I'll show you. Okay. So I'm just going to do that here. I didn't want it sticking out. It's just sticking out a little. Let's see if I can get that off without ripping it. See, it's a very delicate page, so I'm just going to leave that like that. There we go. That's perfect. Okay, so there's that. I had gotten some tapes, some autumn tapes and Halloween tapes from the washi tape shop, but it's got these like leaves and dried flowers on there, and I thought it was super pretty. So I wanted to use this one here, I think. Oop. If I can get it off. I don't know why it doesn't want to come off. Oh, there's tape on there, I think. That's why. Hold on. Yeah, I got this from the washi tape shop. They had some really pretty, there it is. Oh my gosh. I don't know why. That was my tape to keep the roll from rolling off. Hold on. I'm getting stuck here. Okay, there we go. So I thought this was really pretty to put there. Right there. Yeah, see? Just look around and see what else you have around that you can use. Now on here, I did ink it. I'm going to ink it more. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to glue this on here first, but I want to put an eyelet to hang. I have a crow on a branch, so I want to hang, and it's got a red eye on it, and that's a little creepy. So I want to use my crocodile and make a hole. I'm trying to see. See where I want it. Okay, that was cutting it close there. Oof. Okay, but that's okay. I'm going to put it that way and hope that this works out for me here. Because sometimes I just don't do a good job with these things. Okay, well, that worked. Okay, so now, let me get my tools here. See, it's a crow on a branch with a red eye. I don't know if you could see that. So I'm going to hang this, and it's fine because it's not thick, so it's going to be fine to accommodate in the pocket. So what I'm going to do is do my surgery here. I'm going to spread my little ring here like that and put this in here if I can. I think I need to open it a little more here. Oh, I dropped it. That's okay. That's okay. I get it. You know, when you do this on camera, it's like sewing in a signature. Okay, there we go. I think. Maybe. There we go. I think I have it now. I'm going to attempt to close this up. Okay. So that's that. Okay. I wanted it to be the other way. Why did it come on? I meant to put the bird the other way. Okay, let me fix it. You can fast forward through this section, because if I don't put it the way I want it, it's going to bother me, which I thought I put it on the right way. So I just have to flip. I have to flip that bird. That's a terrible thing to say, but I do. Flip the bird. I have to flip the bird to the other way. So hold on. Let me put him the other way. There, this way. Okay. Hopefully that did it. Hopefully I'm okay. Let me get this. I'm worried that I punched that hole a little too low there. But, well, if it falls off, I'm going to have to repair it. Okay, so hopefully I did good there. Yes, okay. So now what I want to do is glue this on here and here. I'll probably do some stamping. I should do something over there. I don't want it blank. Or let me see what I have. I should have did some stamping or this on there before. You know what I can do? I'll just grab my script stamp a little, and I'll take the brown, the vintage photo, and let me see what I can do here. Well, it's a little after the fact, but that's okay. It's gonna work. It'll be fine. Yeah, just something on there like that. Okay, that'll be fine. Just for something, so it's not plain. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want this to be glued here, so it's a tuck. So I need to go here and along there. Right. Straight up. Like that. Okay. So I'm going to put this here. Like so. And then I just want to look and make sure it's okay. There we go. And so see, when this hangs, the bird will be hanging looking that way. I like it. That was what I was trying to accomplish here. So let me get that on there. And then this opens. You can journal here. Close it. But then we're going to just cover up a tag. So I have a piece of Tim Holtz ephemera here. And what I'm going to do is just back it with some of Amy's papers here for just like that. So I'm going to use my fabric tack for that. Okay. So let's get this covered up. Because this is like, his ephemera is like thicker and slick, right? I'm going to use this side here. And I know there's a little white on the edge, but I will ink that up. That won't be a problem. So let's get that backed. So yeah, you can use his pieces of ephemera as journal cards or tags, right? Okay. And I always like to trim my little corners off because they're pointy, and I like them when they're not that pointy. So do that. Okay. And now I will ink all around both sides. And I just went through my ephemera and pulled out anything like floral, plant related that you would maybe see. And it is kind of like a creepy looking. So this is going to get tucked right here now. So then we have a tuck there. We have this little file folder with some journaling in here. And then you have a journal card here. So that works there. And then the front, let's see, take that tag out. Yep, see? Now I gotta glue those, I've gotta glue my little fern down up here, I think, right up here, so it doesn't get floppy there. Let me get that on there. Okay, that'll glue. And then these antennas I've got to glue down. So, and I'll just use my tip here. I can get those on before they come off. There. And I'll let that dry, but that goes in there. And that works out, even though that wing sticks out, it still works. Right? Yep. Yeah, it does. Okay. I don't know, I feel like I need something up here. I'm not sure what, but I do feel like I need maybe, I don't know. Not sure. What do I need up there? I'm just looking at my box here. I have some green. That I could put up there. I don't know if I like that either. Maybe I need some, oh, I know. Maybe I need a bit of green. Yeah, maybe this. This is just some hand-dyed gauze. I could just put some of this on here. That might work. Let's see if I can get some of that. Just a piece of this. I don't know, do I want it this way or... I'm going to cut a piece of this off here. I think that's what it needs, something up on top here. Stitched on. Just something like that maybe. We'll see. I'll leave it there and then I'll remember. Okay, so we have that. I have that. Journaling spot, that's pretty. So for here, what I wanted to do, I made my own Tim Holtz style collage strips using Amy's papers and scraps, and I will make a couple of these, and I wanted to glue this here and make this a tuck, and I have one of Amy's Spooky Past tags here that I backed, and I thought this will be a nice tuck with her sticking out like that. So let me move some things here, and then we're gonna make some of those. Those are fun. You can make them for Christmas and I mean any theme. So I'm gonna show you. That's I cut 2-inch strips, a bunch of 2-inch strips, but you don't have to. You can use Amy's, you can use whatever size strip you need. If you need bigger, then you cut bigger. But what I did was I went along and just to start, I cut some, that's Tim Holtz paper, I cut some 2-inch strips of, you can even use some of that, because you don't want them all the same size. There's some more of my 2-inch strips here. And that's why I wanted some words, because I think it looks good with words in there. So that's why I said, oh, Amy's ads will be perfect for that. We have some green, that. We have these here. We have this. So whatever papers you're using, see, just get some out. And you could just make them like this is the length of the page, and then cut them down as you need to. So you can use just a strip of this as a base. Or you can start, like, say, with a piece of this, and you can, I think it looks good, like this one. I think it looks good with some wording in it. So you can, do this. We can cut these, and I'm going to get my little cutter. And I am just going to cut some words up here in different lengths. It doesn't even matter what length I'm doing. But I started out with 2-inch strips, okay? So I cut some of those up. Okay. So let's start with a piece. Like if I wanted to start on this Tim Holtz piece here, this green, I love that green paper, so I can do that. But I think what I'm going to do is just take one of Amy's pages here now, because I like the colors. I'm going to glue that on there. So then, get my glue book back out. So I'll just kind of make one strip with you, but I think it's pretty easy to understand, right? You just take your scraps, and as wide as you want your strips to be, you cut some that wide. So I'm going to start up here a little bit. I'm going to just kind of start there. And it's good to have one as kind of a base, so you can kind of keep things straight. And then say I want to use some of this green, so I can just cut off just a piece of this green. Now it's kind of the same size, but that's okay. And then even if I go off the sides, you can trim them. That's easy to trim, to line it up to make it exact. So now I have that background yet, right? So I might just kind of make a small middle there. Let that one be small. Put that one on. And then I'll get a piece of this one. And that's got some words on it too. Or I'm going to use this part here with this plant here. So if I do this, I'm going to butt this one up here. Okay, there's that, the beginning of that. And like I said, mine aren't cut perfect, but I don't think any of us cut perfect, so I can go ahead and just trim that little bit off there. Okay, there we go. And I can continue on. Just look through your scraps, see what else you have. Maybe a piece of this. You can just do this in front of the TV watching, a show or something. Let me just cut that down, because that's obviously not a 2-inch strip. You can just watch TV and do these. And just, because then you don't want to think about it. Like the collage, you don't want to think about it too much. So I can make a little in between there, leave that there. Oops. And then maybe another word, another one of these here. And this way you can make them to accommodate the theme of your, whatever you're making. Now I like that there, so I don't want to cover that up. So now I need something else. Okay, maybe a piece of this here. A small piece of this Tim Holtz paper, but I want to leave that interesting piece there. So I'm going to do this. Leave that there. Like that. Okay. That looks good so far. And I think I'll cut it off because I don't know, I don't need them super duper tall, so I can cut this piece off right there. And then let me get rid of this. Too much going on here. So then you can see I made a strip just with the scraps I have on my table. And now you have your own version of your Tim Holtz strips. So let me move my garbage out of the way here. I'm going to make more of these. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what I was doing. So let's bring this over. So that's what I did here. And so what I want to do is I did make it, and then I ripped this edge off to kind of mimic that edge. And I'm going to glue it there, there, and there, and make a tuck. All right, so I'm going to do that. Okay. And then I'm going to glue this here, right on the edge, like so. And I like how that looks. And I did ink those edges. I inked them. So now I cut this tag down so I know it would fit in there. At least I might have to cut it a smidge more off the top here. Let me, once you glue it, you know you lose a little bit of real estate there. So let's get that in there. That'll fit now. And I'll stitch around that tag. I already printed something on the back. I will stitch around that tag. Probably we should put something there maybe. And I'll stitch around it just to have, and I'll probably stitch around that one too, just to add some interest. I think what I want to do, let me close my glue up here. I think what I want to do is add one of the Tim Holtz, like I have a lot of the roses and stuff, these, but they're all in different sizes. So let's see what I have here. I don't want the real red one. I want, ooh, what's this one here? Oh, well, that is a red one there. Let's see if I have another small one here. I have my, oh, that's big. Let's see. I threw them in here. You know, whatever looked botanical to me, that would be in a conservatory. I threw it in my little box here, and I have them, and I did do some cutting and my leaves, and it's a mess in here right now. Okay. I even threw this bug in there, and you know how I hate bugs. Although spiders are okay for Halloween. But that's about as far as I go. I'm looking in here. No, I have some smaller, like whitish ones. Okay, this is kind of blue. Maybe this one will go, because, yeah, that one looks, I like that one there, maybe. Let's see if I ink it up a little. Gotta hit it with the vintage photo, tone it down. We could just kind of add that in there, because I like this number, this area here. I don't want to cover that up too much. Let's see how that would look. If I tuck that in, like so, she's peeking out. And then I would put this here. Yeah, I do like it. So I will glue this on, and like I said, I will stitch around the tags so I can have some threads showing, and I think it just kind of will add some interest. Something I don't usually do, but I thought I could do some. So I'm going to put that one here, knowing that I'm going to stitch around it, leave myself some room there. And what else? I might even cut some of my, you know how I love adding this, right? My greens. I love adding my vines and stuff. It really adds something. So I could probably even, well, now it kind of looks like that. Well, we'll see. I'll think about it. But anyway, we have a tag started, but like I said, I'll stitch around it. We'll see. I think maybe I'll leave that just that as that is. Maybe put something back here. So she'll get stitched around there. She's one of the ghosts in the conservatory that hangs out. And then we have this side here, the little folder. We have journaling here. We have this crow. Take this away, and we have a journaling card here. And then the front, we have our crow here, which I love having something there. I think what I'm going to do is probably when I stitch this tag, I will make sure that I get some of this on here, like so. It'll look good with the black stitching around it. Okay. All right, friends. Well, that was a start. I'm slow to the start, but I'm getting there. But I think it's going to be fine once we get into this. And then try making some of your own collage tags for yours. And then I'll see you in the next video. All right? Take care and have a great day. Bye.